Hello everybody, I am Shraddha Sheke. I welcome you all in this course on the subject Software Defined Radio. This is unit number 3, which is a multi-rate signal processing. So in this unit we will talk about multi-rate signal processing, what exactly it is. Then we will talk about introduction. Then different subpoints we will discuss like cost, flexibility, sample timing algorithms, decimation, interpolation, zero insertion and raised cosine. And after that we will talk about some basics of upsampling, downsampling. So let's begin. What is a multi-rate signal processing? The implementation of a digital signal processing applications using variable sampling rates is called multi-rate digital signal processing. So low complexity digital signal processing applications can be performed using a single sampling rate for the whole implementation. For high complexity applications, sometimes it is beneficial to alter the sampling rates used at the different stages of the system to reduce the required computational complexity and to enable the use of low cost digital signal processing structure. To implement the implementation of the digital signal processing applications using variable sampling rate is called as multi-rate digital signal processing. Now, let us talk about introduction. So, multi-rate digital signal processing techniques can improve the flexibility of a software radio. For instance, a multimode receiver may share the same ADC and sampling rate for multiple receiver implementations. At the receiver, a signal is typically digitized at the rate significantly higher than the bandwidth, so that the anti-aliasing filter specifications can be relaxed. But then the sampling rate is immediately reduced to the minimum sampling rate to avoid excessive computations. Furthermore, it is desirable that sample rate be exactly some integer multiple of the symbol rate to ensure that receiver is synchronized to the incoming data. Otherwise, symbols may be lost or counted twice. For transmitter, the signals are created at the minimum sampling rate to avoid excessive computation, but the sampling rate is increased before the DAC to relax the specifications of the interpolation filter. Next, we will talk about cost. In a system design, it is important to minimize the resources used by the system to perform its intended applications. For a computer-based design, the most critical parameter is MIPS, that is millions of instructions per second. A system design that can be delivered a desired applications using a minimal number of the MIPS is generally less expensive and consumes less power than a design that requires higher performance hardware. Any technique that will reduce the number of the instructions needed to perform a task is a welcome addition to an efficient system design. One of the most basic means of reducing the number of MIPS, that is million instructions per second, used is to minimize the information content of the signal to be processed to only its essential content. So, what is the important thing? That we can reduce the uh, we can minimize the information content of a signal, or we will send only the essential contents. An example of the multimode system is a is a base station designed to handle the multiple services. The base station can digitize to the whole band of the reverse link and digitally extract individual channels. You can see in this diagram, this diagram explains, this is a block diagram of simplified baseband receiver. So you can see in this diagram you are having antenna or antennas, then basically frequency baseband channelization is there, various channels are there, and high speed stream, then IF down conversion and digitization in one block, and RF front end is the other block. So these are the main blocks of the baseband receiver. So an example of the multimode system is a baseband designed to handle the multiple services. The base station can digitize the whole band of the reverse link and digitally extract individual channels. The advantage of this approach is the need for only the single RF front end and ADC to service a whole spectrum of the standards. On the forward link, signals can be combined in the digital domain so that single common RF front end and a DAC can be used to service a sector. This implementation option can drastically reduce the cost of the RF components. Furthermore, since the cost of the state-of-the-art high-speed digital signal processing chips rises exponentially with speed, the use of channelization to lower the sampling rates. The parallel processing allows the use of the low-speed chips, significantly reducing the implementation cost. You can see in this figure, it shows the example of the channelization where the task of the baseband radio interface is to collect the signal transmitted by all the mobile units. And to separate each channel for the individual processing. Each new data stream stemming from the original collected data stream has a lower data rate than that of the original. If the original stream is k bits per second, then each channelized stream will be k by n, where n is the number of the channels. The lower data rate at each channel transmits allows parallel implementation of the less demanding algorithms, enabling the use of the less complex and potentially more power efficient hardware. Next point we will talk about is a flexibility. At times, it is important for the system to operate in the several different modes. The need is most apparent in cellular phones designed to operate using the different standards. For example, the design specification may require a base station to be able to handle IS 136, that is 30 kHz channel, GSM 200 kHz, IS 95 1.25 MHz channels, and WCDMA, that is 5 MHz. While each of these standards has different requirements, it is possible for the single system to be able to handle all of them. ADCs are usually subjected to resolution versus speed trade-off. Higher speed data acquisition is usually achieved through the reduction of the resolution. An 8-bit sample is acquired faster than a 12-bit sample. The use of the multi-rate digital signal processing techniques in a system design allows the designer to trade sample rate for the data resolution. So, we will talk about um, it afterwards in more detail. Next is the sample timing algorithms, that is sample rate conversion principle. See, you can see here. The conversion of a data stream's sample rate is an important part of the digital signal processing. A data stream can be downsampled to a lower sampling rate or the upsampled to the higher sampling rate. We can see this diagram. In this diagram, a signal x of n as shown sampled at f s, x is passed through the sampling rate converter. So this is a signal and this signal is passed through this block, which is a sampling rate conversion. As we have discussed, there can be either upsampling or the downsampling. So upsampling means what? Upsampling means your data is sampled to the higher sampling rate, and the downsampling means data will be sampled to the lower sampling rate. So now in this diagram, this is the original signal x of n and it is sampled at f of s, x. The sampling rate converter can be thought of as a real time varying filter h of m, n. So here n and m indicate the different timing scales. The sampling rate conversion factor is expressed as a ratio of two relatively prime numbers, that is, the number whose greatest common divisor is 1. Right? Therefore, the filter we have shown in this diagram, this is the filter h of n, m, is a rate converter whose sampling ratio is given like this. So sampling ratio is the input sampling rate f of s, x upon this output sampling rate. You can see this is the input sampling rate upon the output sampling rate f of s, y, which is I upon d. In the above previous diagram, where factor I and d are the interpolation and decimation factors respectively, both of which are relatively prime. In the following decimation, example and analysis, I assume to be 1. So next we will talk in detail about what it is. Let us talk about what is a decimation. Decimation is the process by which high frequency information is eliminated from a signal to reduce the sampling frequency without resulting in aliasing. So in this process in which we will reduce by which the high frequency information is eliminated from a signal. So here we will eliminate the high frequency information to reduce the sampling frequency, but without any aliasing effect. we can see in this diagram represents its spectrum every 2 pi radians. If decimation without filtering were performed, aliasing would occur. So I will show you the diagram if the decimation without filtering is done. Yes. We can see this if decimation without filtering is done. As we discussed, a sample signal shown in the figure A represents a spectrum every 2 pi t. It is basically 2 pi t time radians. If decimation without filtering were performed, the aliasing would occur. An example is shown in this figure. So, this is how the aliasing would occur if you don't perform the filtering. This diagram is aliased signal spectrum at d is equals to 3. Next, this figure shows a block diagram of a decimation process. The operation is, we can see this, the operation is composed of the low pass filtering followed by the downsampling. The downsampler picks a subset of the samples that are passed through the low pass filter. The low pass filter is used to design to avoid the aliasing and has a cutoff of pi by d, the point that allows the non-aliased part of the signal seen in the figure B to pass. The end result of the decimation procedure is the content of the original signal below pi by d, but it is sampled at the lower rate. Figure E shows the expected spectrum of the decimated signal. To fully explore the process of signal decimation, and analysis of the algorithm is necessary. Two processes are used in the decimation procedure: filtering and downsampling. Filtering performed with the filter HD of n and the signal x of n in the time domain. Subsampling is the selection of every dth sample. Next, let us talk about what is interpolation. Upsampling is the process to increase the number of the points per unit time used to describe the signal. The spectral content of the signal does not change. What does change is the spectral separation between the images and the original spectrum. When upsampling is employed, no new information is added to the signal. The process of upsampling decreases the time between the samples of the signal. This process can be used for matching sampling rates between two systems or as the last step before the DAC to help relax the requirements for the reconstruction filter. Next point is to talk about zero insertion interpolation. In this method, zeros are inserted between samples of a signal, generating a new signal. This new signal is then low passed filtered, yielding an upsampling version of the original. Figure is given below, so I will show that figure. To fully explore the process of signal decimation, an analysis of the algorithm is necessary. Two processes are used in the decimation procedure: filtering and downsampling. Equation 3.2 shows the filtering performed with the filter HD of n on the signal x of n in the time domain. The sampling is the selection of every dth sample shown in the equation. So the equation is V of n is equals to summation k is from minus infinity to plus infinity HD of k x of n minus k, and y of m is equals to V of m d. Now we can see this diagram, the upsampled signal magnitude spectrum, and the zero insertion we can see. This diagram represents direct implementation of the interpolation. So insert I-1 zeros. X of n is the signal and it is given to the block. This block will insert I-1 zeros and the signal V of m is created. This signal is either given to the FIR LPF low pass filter and you are getting the output Y of m. For the purpose of analysis, assume that the original signal is x of n and that goes is to the upsample it by the factor of I. I-1 zeros are inserted between each pair of consecutive samples of x of n. As we have seen here, I-1 zeros are inserted and we are getting V of m, which can then be defined as V of n is equals to x of m upon I, where m is equals to 0 plus minus I plus minus 2I and so on, and 0 otherwise. So we can see here, otherwise it is 0, right? And I is equals to 5. So for this, m is equals to 0 plus minus 1 plus minus 2I. For those values, it is having some value. Taking the Z transform of the V of m and defining m dash yields V of Z. V of Z is equals to summation m dash is from minus infinity to plus infinity V of m dash Z raised to minus m dash is equals to summation m is from minus infinity to plus infinity V of mi Z raised to minus mi. This is also equals to summation m is equals to minus infinity to plus infinity x of m Z of minus mi, and which is equals to m of minus infinity to plus infinity x of m Z of I minus m. From the equation, above two equation, we can say V of Z is equals to x of Z raised to I, and this is a very important equation. Next part we will talk about is the zero insertion and raised cosine. To minimize interpolation, to minimize inter-symbol interference, ISI, the use of the raised cosine. Pulse shaping is important. If the upsampling of the pulse code modulation, that is a PCM signal, is to be performed at the transmitter, the upsampling and the raised cosine filtering can be combined to simplify the overall design. This combination is performed by using the zero insertion interpolation method described before, but with the raised cosine filter inserted instead of the low pass interpolation filter. In practice, the LPF, that is a low pass filter, can be ignored since the raised cosine filter has a smaller bandwidth than the interpolating LPF as shown in the figure F. You can see one could view the process as a pulse train that excites the filter that performs both pulse shaping and interpolation. Figure C shows the example of this application. The 3-bit PCM sequence is sampled. Each of these samples is mapped onto one-dimensional constellation and upsampled before modulation. Though not shown in the figure G, the pulse-shaped waveform is now ready to be modulated and transmitted. We can see this diagram which is shown here. Pulse of a data is there that is given to the upsampling to increase the sampling rate of the pulse, and then LPF and raised cosine filters. These two can be combined together and output is the raised cosine pulses. This is what we have discussed right now. So there are two, this diagram A and B, both diagrams are there. You can see upsampled time domain signal and interpolated signal with the raised cosine pulse shaping. In this diagram, we can see the zero inserted signal in the time domain. Zero insertion is done, and in the next diagram, upsampled time domain signal was there in the previous diagram. Here, interpolated signal with the raised cosine pulse shaping. So basically, there are two samplers used in the multi-rate signal processing, which are upsampler and the downsampler. So upsampler used to increase the sampling rate by an integer factor, and the downsampler is used to decrease the sampling rate by an integer factor. Upsample. An upsampler with an upsampling factor L, where L is a positive integer, develops an output sequence with a sampling rate that is L times larger than that of the input sequence x of n. So you can see this diagram. X of n is the input sequence, L is an integer, and you are getting the output signal which is upsampled as shown here. The figure shows the upsampling by the factor of 3 for sinusoidal sequence with the frequency of 0.12 Hz obtained using. So this is the input sequence, and the output sequence is upsampled by 3. So as we have studied, upsampling is increases sampling rate. So we have increased the upsample. X of n is equals to xa of nt, increases sampling rate of y of n. Input sampling frequency ft is equals to 1 of t, and the output sampling frequency is f dash of t is given to lf of t, which is equals to 1 upon t dash. Spectrum of the upsampled signal. Frequency below shows the relation between two signals for L is equals to 2 in case of the typical sequence X of n. Downsampling operation is performed by keeping every m the sample of X of n and removing in between samples to generate Y of n. So you can see here downsampling is done. A downsampler with the downsampling factor m, where m is a positive integer, develops an output sequence y of n with the sampling rate which is 1 upon capital M of that of the sequence x of n. So you can see here this is the sequence x of n, m is the sampling rate and output is the y of n. Types are the anti-imaging filter, identifies 6 types, cascading sample rate converters, efficient travel structure for the decimator, efficient travel structure for the interpolar, polyphase structure of decimator, polyphase structure of the interpolar, and Z transform, polyphase decimation using the Z transform, quadrature miniature filter bank. Advantages and the applications. So advantages are sampling rate conversion is high. So this is one advantage. Then it gives more accuracy. Applications: compact disc, digital audio, American television, European television, all are used in the frame type, not in the bitwise.